Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Footy Pod. This time, rather than dissecting a match, we're going to look at a very interesting aspect of the Premier League specifically. And that aspect, as you all know it from the title and the thumbnail, is the FPL teams of the year. So, over the past few years, both Shridhar and I have accumulated a significant amount of experience in the realm of FPL and leagues of our own. And we're not gonna lie, but we're pretty good at it. So we decided why not give you guys a taste of what it's like to look at an FPL team from the point of view of two masters in that specific area. So with me, I have Chidam. Hi, you want to say hi to them?
Hey Zahar, it's good to be back after a while. Yeah, about the FPL Masters thing, I'm not so sure. I started last season, so it's still a bit rocky, but I hope to share some of the experience I gained over the past year, and hopefully you guys find it informative.
I am so excited for
Oh,
this year's
also
FPL, man.
one more thing. I
Yeah,
know
man.
you guys are probably getting triggered by the team you see on the screen, but like I just auto picked that, so it's not like we wouldn't recommend Lacazette to you, nor would we recommend Sigurdsson captain. So so yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we have
yeah,
to
yeah.
say. So let's get into it.
Don't worry about what's on screen. We'll change the team as it goes and recommend the best possible team that we think of, or at least, or maybe we can do like one team for you and then what I think of your team, and then the other way around.
Uh,
So yeah, uh, I think let's start off. Let's just get right to it. And I'm gonna say off the bat that one
let's start with the
I
keeper.
want no I just want before we get in I want to ask you what's the one player that you absolutely need to have in your team, any position. You just buy him no matter what the price, and he just sticks for the rest of the season if there is such a player.
That's an interesting question. Last year for me that was Harry Kane. He was there at an attractive price point at 10.5. But this year, most of the prices have been like bloated up. And so Harry Kane's at 12.5 now, I believe. And it just makes him like less attractive of a proposition, especially if he stays at Spurs. If he goes to City, Harry Kane's a must in my team. There's no doubt about it. But for Spurs, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still probably gonna have him, but I don't think he'd be a put there and forget kind of guy for me. So this season, ignoring the Kane variability, I would say the one person who would probably keep and not replace anytime soon would be uh Emi Martinez, man. That's a weird pick.
Aston Villa goalkeeper.
Yeah, Aston Villa goalkeeper. They have a great defense, and Emi Martinez, he showed last season and in the Copa that he's up there with the best. And with Villa's defense, I have faith in them, and his price was also bumped up a bit to reflect that quality. He's at 5.5 now, I believe, and yeah, I think he'd be the one for me.
All right, interesting. Speaking
What
of
about you?
keepers, let's get right to the teams. Oh, for me, it would be probably Mohamed Salah. As much as
Uh,
as much as I don't like to admit that Liverpool do have a certain blistering attacking force in the form of Mohamed Salah, he's just been undeniable. Last season, for the first 4 game weeks, I chose Mane instead of Salah, and I paid the price for it. So, like, yeah, for me, it's gonna be Salah, Mohamed Salah.
yeah, yeah. I think
All
that
right,
makes
so
sense. I don't
yeah,
think I think Liverpool's attack is going to be better this season as well. They slipped up a bit last season,
yeah,
so
with Van Dijk and Gomez back, that gives them the stability they need to take things forward in attack. I feel so.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So
Coming to the keepers, yeah, go for it. Tell me what who like so before we get into the keepers, like the actual names of the keepers, I just want to ask, are you the type of guy to like invest in keepers that you've seen visually do well, or are you like okay, I need a 4.5 million keeper because that's the position I want to spend the least on, and then spend the rest of your money on other positions.
uh well, let's look into it. Let's look at the 4.5 keepers because I believe Emi Martinez last season was 4.5. So let's look at the 4.5 keepers this time around and let's see if any of them are worth having. So
All
you
right.
have Guaita here from Crystal Palace. Nah, that's a no-go for me. This is actually a good pick. So Sanchez from Brighton at 4.5. Brighton had a fairly good defensive record last season. So Sanchez at 4.5 is a good shout, right? McCarthy as well. Wow, that's an eye opener. 4.5
But
with
I just
well,
want to point out that Sanchez didn't play most of last season for Brighton. It was Matt Ryan in goal, I think, and then they swapped him out mid-season.
no, I think Sanchez played like the latter part of the season. So
Hmm.
I think they might
Yeah, but
stick.
I think having Lewis Dunk in defense really helps the keeper's case. So yeah, let's go with Sanchez. Anyway,
Yeah,
carry on.
yeah. McCarthy as well, like 4.5, that's a great shout out. Southampton have a great defense with Vestergaard and Benarek. And he did really well. Remember when Southampton were on the top of the Premier League, and they did that with on the foundations of a great defense, keeping clean sheets. So McCarthy is a good shout. Dalo, Dubravka, I don't expect much from them. Ben Foster is actually a good one as well at 4.5. Watford. Wait, is this Watford or Southampton? I think this is Southampton. Yeah, this
That
is.
is Southampton. Yeah.
But you have, I believe you have the Watford keeper. He's at a good price point as well. So I think he's somewhere over here. Where is Watford? Yeah, here he is. So Ben Foster from Watford at 4 million. I think that's a great shout out because he's probably going to start. And Watford did well last season in the League Cup, so he might be a good choice to for your second keeper at 4
All
million
right.
as a starting keeper. He's a great shot. So Ben Foster for me as my backup keeper, and for my for my for my actual first choice keeper, like I said, it'd probably be Emi Martinez, right? So at 5.5, he's a little bit on the expensive side, but I don't expect a lot of rotation on that end. So I'm probably gonna stick with Emi Martinez as my first choice. What about you? What would you do?
Um, so I think we have one common name in the both of us like Sanchez as a keeper, so he's probably going to be my first choice. And I think Brighton won't rotate him too much, so he's pretty safe in that position. And as we said, Brighton are defensively astute, at least in most cases. I think clean sheet wise, he's going to get the occasional clean sheet, and he'll put in a shift or two in terms of performance otherwise. So I think he's going to be my first choice pick. And my second choice keeper is the one you dissed at the beginning of this discussion, Gaita from Crystal Palace, because I don't really think I'm gonna ever sub keepers, so like it doesn't really make a difference.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. I just think that Guaita is not great. What's happening?
He's never gonna play, so
All right, so well, Emi Martinez for me in defense, and let's put Guaita in there
no
for your
Gaita. Put Sanchez, bro.
put Sanchez. Okay. Let's put Sanchez in there. Oh, I gotta remove him first. So Sanchez, awesome. All right, let's move on to the defenders. So let's break this up. Like let's do some of the more premium defenders you'd like to have when you might need, and let's do some who are more on the cheaper side of things and who are
All right.
bargains for your team. So
So
let's go. Let's maybe just cross all this out and go. Give me
yeah,
your defenders. Give me the premium ones first, and then we can do the bargains.
premium ones, I think they're pretty out there. I mean, it's no secret. Like we have Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool, and the thing about Trent is that not only does he give you the clean sheet, but he also provides more of an attacking threat than any other defender in the Prem, except maybe
Yeah.
Luke Shaw. So he's a must-have. I think it's between if you had again, there's the debate of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. Like if you had to pick between them, but I think that Robertson's only like 0.5 million cheaper than he is. So I think I would go with Trent Alexander-Arnold. In terms of other premium defenders, you have Ruben Diaz coming in at 6 million, I think, the last time I checked.
Yeah,
And
you have the list here if you want to check it out.
yeah,
And we have more defenders, so if you want me to scroll or go to the next page, let me know.
all right, sure. Yeah, but I think that concludes my list actually in terms of premium defenders that I'd want to have. It's either Trent Alexander-Arnold or Ruben Diaz, and if you can afford it, both.
Okay, so
What about you?
let's just put both in for good measure. Give me a few more because I want to fill out your end of the defensive line before we
All
move
right.
on to my. Yeah.
So the rest of my picks are going to be budget picks. So I think Ailing from Leeds is a great shout out. So he
Luke Ayling.
definitely be on. Yeah.
Um, just gotta select this man. This is long. All right, there we go. Luke Ayling. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Wesley Fofana from Leicester City. I think last season he had a great breakthrough season, and I think again this season he might perform again. And the last one, he's not fit right now, but I think Tariq Lamptey from Brighton. Um, he's great. As in last season, he has some hamstring issues, and I don't think he's going to start the first few weeks of the Premier League. But I
Mhm.
think when he does come in, he's gonna be one of those great budget defenders that you don't want to miss out on. So that's my defensive lineup.
Okay. So are you going into the season with something resembling this, or is this something that you'd like to have over the course of the season? Because it changes accordingly, right?
Right. So right now I'm at a bit of a crossroads because I'm spending 6 million on Ruben Diaz and 7.5 million on Alexander Arnold, and I'm not so sure that I need both of them because I
Mhm.
think from Manchester City, um, if you have players in attack, it's good enough. So I don't think you need Diaz in there, and Diaz doesn't really provide that much of an attacking threat. So I don't think he's worth the 6 million. So I might just downgrade him to someone and put channel that money into maybe an extra striker or a midfielder.
Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough. If you did downgrade, who would that be to? Someone like
If I
John.
did, not John Stones, I was thinking more along the lines of a Luke Shaw or Harry Maguire or
Okay. So that's a 0.5 saving I think you're making there.
yeah, or if I wanted to go even cheaper, I'd probably Ryan Fredericks from West Ham is pretty great. So like I choose them, and West Ham have great bit of like opening fixtures. So I think I'd go with them. Go with him.
Would Ryan Frederick start? I think West Ham. I think they usually start with Ogbonna and Dawson. So I'm not sure if Fredericks would start.
And so if I don't know, I think I'd have to play it by ear. I think he'll start, but if he doesn't, then I'd obviously swap him out for Luke Ayling. But yeah, that's who I'm going with.
You already have Luke Ayling in there.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd swap him out from the bench. Like I'd put Ayling in from the bench and put Fredericks on the bench.
Okay, okay, all right. All right, let's move on to my picks for the defensive line. Let's go premium first. You had a massive call with Alexander Arnold. He's really expensive, and
Yeah.
I think I just think that I need to test the waters a little bit before going in with 7.5 on a defender. I think that's really expensive, but I understand the sentiment behind you going for him. But for me, at the beginning with Aston Villa's fixtures, I just have to go with someone like Matt Target. So if you look here, he's got Watford, Newcastle, Brentford as his first three fixtures, and it's just a great set of fixtures. So Matt Target for me, um, he's not exactly premium because he's 5 million. That's like in the mid range, but yeah, Matt Target takes the first spot for me. Second spot is more on the premium side with Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw is probably going to be one of those players who I keep in my squad for the majority of the season. He's got some good fixtures coming up. Leeds isn't a great one, but he has Southampton, Wolves, and Newcastle to follow. So, and he's also got the attacking potential. With the arrival of Rafa Varane, by the way, which I'm still bummed out about, they have a good shot at keeping a lot more clean sheets. So, Luke Shaw for me takes the second defensive spot. Um, the third place would probably go to someone like um, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Ben White. Ben White 4.5 at Arsenal with
Arsenal?
yeah, I mean I understand, but he's just at 4.5, it's you gotta even if he's a sub, he's probably gonna be a sub for me, but Ben White probably takes that one.
All
I
right, all right.
start at the beginning. I don't know if they'll ease him into it, but I expect him to. So Ben White takes the third spot. I might double up on Villa's defense and keep. Actually, no, that might be. I might need to diversify just a little bit. So might go with West Ham. So I might just give Aaron Cresswell a shout here. Aaron Cresswell is great with his crossing and his attacking. So Aaron Cresswell with Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Southampton, three of his first four fixtures, I think is a good shout, right?
All right.
So for my cheaper picks, I think. All right, let's just test the waters a little bit. Let's go to the other page. All right. Oh, Wesley Fofana, of course. Wesley,
Yeah.
what a lad. 4.5 Leicester City. It's a crazy deal. And Wesley Fofana takes it from me.
All
So
right. All right.
that
Makes
would be
sense.
my defensive line. I think I'll take it into the midfielders and then you can follow me up with
Cool.
your.
Cool. Cool. Let's do it.
All right. So for midfielders, let's see. All right. So I think we have, why is it not in descending order? Let's sort it by descending order. There we go. And all right, there we go. So for the midfield, we have a lot of interesting picks here, but I feel like the price points have changed a bit. So Son has been upgraded. Rashford, I believe, is the same. We have Sancho coming in. De Bruyne has been bumped up, I believe. Salah too. So this is tough, man. This is tough.
So before you dive into your picks, I just want to say this is going to be like a kind of a difficult question, but I feel like you can answer it. In terms of De Bruyne, right? Like last season, he was a fair bit cheaper, I think. And when it comes to premium attacking midfielders, even that 0.5 million makes a lot of difference. So I just want to say that is last season De Bruyne was a must-have. This season, but however, before I want to preface my question with the fact that Foden outperformed himself. Like he performed and he had an insane season last season. So this season, is De Bruyne a must-have, or can you maybe what's the degree of substitutability in terms of Foden?
Right. So last season, De Bruyne was actually injured quite a bit. He got PFA Player of the Year, but I don't know how he got that because he was injured for a large part, and Gundogan actually had to take up the mantle of scoring, and he had that entire phase. You know, we had that entire phase where Ilkay Gundogan was just scoring goals for
Oh
fun.
yeah, right.
Everyone had him because he was like the FPL dream pick. I don't
Yep.
expect something like that to happen this time around though. I think De Bruyne will probably be fit. And if they buy Harry Kane, one of De Bruyne or Harry Kane has to be in your team, right? Um, that being said, oh, you also have the Grealish to City rumors. So if Grealish comes in, someone like Sterling might just be phased out of the team. So that there is that possibility. But I don't know. The thing about De Bruyne last season was that he played in a fairly deep role, and like he just didn't pass the eye test for me in the
Ah,
bulk of the games that he played. So in the case where he plays in a more advanced scenario, I would probably go with him. But at 12 million and with that volatility regarding his position, I'd probably pass for the first few game weeks at least.
all right.
Yeah. So all right, let me get into the picks now. So this is difficult, man. At the price points and fuck, okay. All right. So I think first for me, we'd have to go with Salah. He's got Norwich City, Burnley, and then Leeds and Palace with the Chelsea game in the middle. I think that's a great set of fixtures. I think you have to probably start with Salah and then with his price point, maybe phase him out a little bit after that. But Mo Salah for me. I'm still not convinced by the Sancho hype just yet because the period of adaptability to the Premier League is still fairly variable with regards to players. And
Yeah,
uh,
don't worry. I'm not going to recommend Sancho either. So no
yeah,
worries there.
yeah. But I mean, I just there is the possibility that he absolutely explodes, right? And I think that possibility is fairly likely. But yeah, Sancho, I'd just like to test it out over over like a larger sample size. see where he plays and see the kind of chemistry he has going on before taking a pick on that. I will also probably start with Fernandez. So the thing about Fernandez last season was that he started very well, right? But then
Yeah.
in the latter part of the season, he was actually shifted out to a deeper role by Ole, and and ever since then his FPL output has fallen, and he just didn't pass the eye test either for me. Like he wasn't really getting into those positions, and his only like sure way of FPL output was through penalties. And I just wasn't convinced that you were going to get too many of that, in spite of the constant banter that's been going on against United, right? So Fernandez for me, I think I'd probably start with him just because he has a good set of fixtures. But if he is in that scenario where he doesn't really convince me and doesn't pass the eye test in the first few game weeks, I'll probably have to get him out.
All right.
So third, I'm probably gonna go with someone like Phil Foden. This is a tricky one because Phil Foden is, like you said, his place isn't assured. Um, the Pep roulette is obviously something you have to keep in mind, especially with the Grealish rumors coming in as well. So Foden might be a risk, but at 8 million and in a City midfield, he's just too good to ignore right now. So Foden takes the third slot for me. And I'm just gonna move over now to the more bargain picks this season. And who's more bargain than Harvey Barnes? Harvey Barnes at 7 million with Wolves, West Ham, Norwich, and Brighton. I think 4 of his 5 fixtures are fairly appealing. And Harvey Barnes last season was really good before he suffered that injury. So Harvey Barnes takes the fourth pick for me. Also, these are just picks that, like, I'm not trying to fit into a budget or something, but these are like picks that I'm trying to recommend. So you are probably going to have to fit in like more bargains in here, but
Uh-huh.
these are some picks that you should probably consider for your team, right? So I know that the grayed out one here says Lingard, but his future is just so variable right now. So if he stays at United, I'm probably not going to go with Lingard.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
yeah. Oh, you got Villian here at 6.5. Damn. At 6.5
Should've
is
with the
actually
jokes.
fairly expensive. Saka,
Yeah.
damn. All right. Let's move on. Oh, Eberechi Eze is actually a great shot as well. At 6 million, he played so well last season. He's one of those wonder kids, like prodigies, and he's been playing really well. And he just reminds me of like a younger Wilfred Zaha, with got the skills and the technicality for it. So Eberechi Eze is actually a good shout out if you want to look that way.
All
Um,
right.
but I might just go with someone like Rafinha here. Oh, there's actually a couple of great picks here. So you have Rafinha for Leeds, you have Leandro Trossard for Brighton, who the thing about Brighton is that they like to play this possession-based football, and Leandro Trossard, he's sort of in the hole behind someone like Neil Maupay or Danny Welbeck, and he does fairly well in that role. And with like Burnley, Watford, Brentford, 3 of his first 5 fixtures, Leandro Trossard is a good shout. You
Yeah.
also have the Aston Villa's new signing, Emi Buendia. Watford, Newcastle, Brentford, 3 of his first 3 fixtures. So great shout out that he had a mammoth season in terms of output in the championship last season. So Buendia is one to keep an eye out for. But it's just that with Villa's defense, with people potentially doubling up on Villa's defense and keeper, you might want to keep the slot open for someone like Ollie Watkins to fill up that third spot from the Villa team. So I might just hold off on Buendia for just a little bit, but in the case that he's regularly starting and providing outputs, I might just go with him. But for now, I'm probably going to put Leandro Trossard in there. Jared Bowen, great shout out as well. Oh, you know what? I might actually go with Bowen here. Bowen's been mammoth for West Ham. He was great last season. He's got Newcastle, Palace, and Southampton first 3 fixtures. No, 3 of his first 4 fixtures. So great shout out to Bowen there. That's probably my pick. Those are my picks. You might actually need to fit like a 4 or 4.5 midfielder into this into one of these 5 here because you're probably not going to have enough money to fit in your strikers as well. So this is my
Uh,
pick for the midfield. Zara, why don't you take it from here?
Okay, so that's a pretty impressive pick. As you said, midfield is just completely flooded with flooded with players that you can pick from, and it's just honestly a dilemma, and you don't want to put too much thought into it because, but at the same time, you don't want to put too less thought into it. You want to focus, but not too hard because if you focus too hard, it'll drive you crazy because there's just so many options.
Oh yeah,
But
the overthinking thing in
yeah, the
crazy.
amount of times I've changed my FPL team since like in the last 24 hours, man, it's just and that's just going to increase at like an exponential rate as we get closer and closer to opening day.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so just don't fret too much about it. Go with your instinct, and my instinct says Salah is in there for sure. So if you wouldn't mind adding him back in,
There we go.
and another one that coincides with what you picked is Phil Foden.
Phil Foden. All right. So you think he's going to start?
Yeah, I think he's going to start. And other than the ones you talked about in terms of budget midfielders, you spoke about Harvey Barnes, right?
Yeah.
Well, another man we can consider is Mark Albrighton. He's been pretty great, and I think he underperformed last season. So at $5.5 million, he's one of those budget midfielders that you were talking about. So we could add him in, and and to counter your Jared Bowen point, yeah, sure, he played insane last season, but we need to remember that that was in partnership with Jesse Lingard, and Lingard isn't there anymore. So I don't quite know how that partnership's going to work out. I think he still has Declan Rice to rely on if Rice doesn't move to Chelsea, that is. But yeah, another very good West Ham player that I could recommend is Thomas Suchek. Suchek, I think, performed if not better, but on the same level as Jared Bowen last year. So yeah, I think I would add Thomas Suchek in there.
Thomas Suchek. All right. Yeah, Suchek did fairly well last season, and he really outperformed his XG, I believe. So, and he got
Yeah,
bumped to 6 as a DMF. So
yeah,
great
it's pretty
shout
great.
out. So
Yeah,
Suchek, yeah.
and this last pick, I know you're going to disagree with me, but come on, it comes in at five. He comes in at 5 million, and this is just so that you can save enough money to invest into attack, right?
Yeah.
And I think a really budget player that gives you great point return, or at least gave you a great points return like last season, is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, or as Chidib likes to call him, Hojbjerg. So I think we got to
Well,
have him in.
this is the moment when people just stop listening because they know we're shit. This is the moment. This is the moment when
Dude,
people switch off
just
their
go
phone.
check how many points he had last season, man. Dude,
Let's
the
let's
stats
check
do
it out.
not lie. Yeah,
Let's check.
go for it.
All right. All right. 2021, he got 107 points across. Let's say he played like 30 games, so that's an average of
3.5 points a
3,
game. Yeah, that's
3
not too
points.
bad.
I mean, he probably played all of the games. So I think he played all the games. So,
But yeah, he doesn't need to be on your team every week. He's just there as like
yeah.
a sure shot starter, and he gives like good returns, I think. So anyway, that's my opinion. You're entitled to your own, but we'll see after. Chidab and I
All
have
right.
our own league going, so like we'll see what happens and who's in
We
pole
will.
position at the end
Yeah,
of
yeah.
week one. All right,
We
cool.
gotta,
Let's
we
move
gotta,
into attack.
we gotta come up with like a prize motivation for that, by the way.
Yeah,
Like maybe some money into it or
some
something of the
money,
sort.
and if I'm better than you, then I get to call you stupid on podcast.
All right, yeah, yeah. And I gotta come up with something as well, but we'll
Cool.
save that for later.
All
Uh,
right.
so all right, this is your midfield then.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but I rarely agree with any of your decisions, man. So this is your midfield line. Why don't you lead us into attack?
All right. Attack. So in my team, this is my midfield, and I previously mentioned my defense, which included the likes of Diaz, Alexander-Arnold, and Fofana. And including all of those people, I still had enough money left over to fit in Calvert-Lewin, Saint Maximin, and Kane. And I think if you have those three in attack, there's going to be very little rotation required because Kane is just like he's just like irreplaceable for me. The only question I have is in terms of uh, the other two. So Calvert-Lewin, I'm considering downgrading one of my defenders and bumping Calvert-Lewin up to maybe a Jamie Vardy. And for Saint Maximin, I'm not sure that I want to go with him because I don't know if Pookie is going to pull a Pookie again at the beginning of the season. So uh, those are my two contentions right now. But over to you.
Okay. So you have so this is your first choice strike. But you're debating about Calvert-Lewin to Vardy and Saint Maxima to
Pookie.
Pookie. Yeah. All right. That's a fair shot. Um, it's interesting that Saint Maxima is registered as a striker in the game. I think he plays as a
Yeah,
wing.
that took me by surprise. That
Yeah,
caught me off guard.
yeah. It's weird. All right. Let me take over here. So gotta cut this junk out. And all right. So I'd probably. So do you think Cavani starts this season, like regularly?
Um, I think he might, but then Martial's fit again, and I think till Rashford doesn't come back, I think he starts.
Martial, is that even like a debate at this point? Like Martial might start or someone
I
like
mean, he's just come back from injury, so Ole might just like ease him back into the side.
right?
So, but with Rashford gone, I think Cavani starts, and but when Rashford comes back, that's when things get a little dicey.
Oh, okay. All right. So for me, I think yeah, in that case, I'd probably go with Cavani. I think he has a good chance of starting this season. So his end of season form was also pretty good. So I think Cavani takes the first spot for me. Werner is actually a good shout out this season as well. I know like people love to banter about him, but I think he's had the 1 year to adapt. He's won the Champions League in this period of adaptation, so he's done fairly well, I'd say. Timo Werner is a good shot, but I don't think I'm ready to trust him just yet. Just
Yeah,
contradicting everything I just said.
yeah.
But
Chill it for you, ladies and gentlemen.
my second spot is going to go to Ollie Watkins. So he's got a great opening set of fixtures with Watford, Newcastle, and Brentford in there. And that's probably going to be my three Villa picks. So Martinez, Target, and Ollie Watkins. And my fourth pick and my third striker pick. So the thing about Richarlison is that he's at the Olympics right now, and they're still in the semifinals. They're in the I think they're in the they're in the semifinals right now. So Richarlison's probably not going to start for the first two fixtures. At least he's probably going to go on holiday after. So Richarlison's a no go for me. Callum Wilson, I'm never going to go for that guy ever again. Like he's the kind of guy where when you have him in your team, he doesn't do anything, but he like turns into prime Ronaldo the moment he's out. So
Ah,
so Callum Wilson's just never going to be in my team. Raul Jimenez is back. He had a terrible injury last season. I think that was fairly well documented. He scored yesterday in a friendly, so he's back at 7.5. He's a real bargain. But I'm probably gonna go with Mikel Antonio. So Mikel Antonio last season at the end he was massive for West Ham. He was just scoring goals for fun, and with Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Southampton, three of his first four fixtures, just a great pick. And also, dude, we have like 4.5 million left to play with after constructing this team. So
whoa. That
there's
I
gonna
think
be
that's more down to my budget midfield than
yeah,
anything else.
yeah. I was like the extravagant guy here. I really went all out. But
Aren't you always?
yeah, but your Hodgebajog and your Sochek and Albrighton picks really eased it up for me. So thank
Yeah.
you.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, that's our picks. Do you have any like FPL like non-specific general wisdom to impart to some of our listeners though?
Yes, always have faith in Dan James. That is something I would like to tell every single one of our viewers and listeners, right? I know he hasn't been the best in the past, but have faith. He, he might just peak this season. So keep your eye out.
Hey, if Martial has a chance of starting this season, Dan James is oh man. If Martial's starting over you, you're not great. You're not
Oh,
great.
Oh wow. Okay, that is a hit at Martial and Dan James.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of Martial, man. I like Dan James more. But anyway, what else? What else?
Um,
Hate on us.
FPL wisdom. All right. So, general rule of thumb: um, don't get a rush of adrenaline after a bad game week, and just hit that free hit or wild card button, and just go berserk. I did
Or the
that once.
transfer button.
Sorry.
Or the transfer button. Like I'm
Yeah,
that
just
like
don't do that.
it's gone so impulsive and like made a ton of transfers after a bad weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. This one time I hit the wild card button in game week 3, and
A lot of people do that. If their first team has people like Hodgberg in it, which yours does, you're probably gonna be inclined to do it in the third game week as well.
all right, that's a lot of big talk. We'll see what happens. But yeah, okay. General FPL wisdom: do not hit that button impulsively. You get it twice a season. There are 38 game weeks. Space it out well. Um, Second, I would like to say is don't make a transfer after watching a match immediately. There is a bit of time you have before the end of one game week and the start of another, even if it's like a game week, midweek game week. So cool down from the effects of that one particular match. Don't give in to recency bias. Just do your own research, and then maybe a few hours before the transfer deadline, think properly, make transfers only if necessary. Otherwise, just save the transfers so you can double up the following week. And yeah, and then that should ensure that you don't uh, that you have transfers when you need them, and that you don't take any unnecessary hits in terms of points.
Ooh, so apart from the Dan James tip, like you pretty much summarized the pillars to FPL success. Good job, good job. I just wanna I just wanna go off of uh the part where you talk about getting impulsive after a match and just making your transfers immediately. I think that's very true also in the sense that you might have injuries or suspensions to account for in the period between two games. So a player you might have transferred in might get injured, and in that case you might want you essentially lose the transfer. So you might
Yeah.
want to make your transfers towards the end of the game week and before the beginning of the next one. So yeah, also yeah, Zohar, you're right. Recency bias, a massive factor. And if you want to beat your friends in your leagues and everything, don't do that.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. And wait, I wasn't like signing off. I'm
I
sorry.
know, but like if you want to beat your friends, like and subscribe for more
Oh yeah,
content.
yeah,
I'm
I get. Okay.
just putting that out there.
Yeah, like and subscribe if you want to beat your friends. We actually have two leagues, so if you want to join us, we'll link the two leagues in the description for you.
Yeah,
Um,
and now with the beginning of FPL, I think we will upload an episode every single week,
yeah,
recapturing the happenings of the league, and then suggesting possible moves in and out for your team. Anyway, carry on.
yeah. So remember that the season is more of a marathon and not a race. So if you do badly in one game week, it doesn't necessarily guarantee failure in the next 5 or 10. So just keep a cool head and watch some of the games. That helps definitely. And yeah, just and use your chips well. So you triple captain, free hit, these are stuff that you should be very careful about. Your wild card, you need to use it at exactly the right time when there's been a change in the fixtures over a period of game weeks. You might want to use your wild card. Um, you might want also like learn up on what a blank game week or a double game week is, because free hits come in used handy for those. So you might want to look into that. Apart from that, I think we've covered most of it. So yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're gonna be back. We've been a little off the pace recently just because the season's been off. But we're gonna be back with more content, and with the season starting up, we're raring to go. And hopefully we have like more of our crew back for the next one. Uh but on that note, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned. We got a lot more coming up. So I hope you're as excited as we are. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.